Stop with the questions. Celebrate.
And then they say, is Donald Trump an intellectual? Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
Yosemite's one of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water.
Mike Lindell's a conspiracy.
But you haven't.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV. They said nobody gets it in order. It's actually not that easy, but for me it was easy.
Amazing.
He can't sit down. He's got a burning in his butthole. He's got a fire. He's got a flame coming out of his butthole.
Big, massive dumps.
Oh, I have a term for that. I call it corporate communism.
Somebody sent me a thing this morning where they're talking about putting the vaccine into salad dressing.
You see, this is a simple meme that you would find on the internet, but this meme is very real.
You ain't seen nothing yet until you see the flaming butthole.
Putting us on our knees to China.
Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station.
I'm cognitively there.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Apparently we've got some audio issues today. That is super weird. Alright, so that is bizarre. But hey, you know what? That's alright. That's alright. I forgot to shut down the OBS before restarting. It's something that happens every once in a while. It's just one of those days. It's a Friday. So screw it.
There's insanity in the control room.
Well, I don't know if you heard that, but all right. So that means we might have some problems with the videos today. Okay. Well, anyway, you know what? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out when we go. Hey, again, it's a Friday. What are you gonna do? Friday's having a case of the Mondays. Oh, I hear you on that one. So. But look, there's no problems with the mic, obviously. But yeah, there will be a couple problems with the clips. So just to forewarn you, so I'm going to have to go through and kind of fix that on the fly. We'll do it live. You know what? Fuck it.
We'll do it live.
So there we go. All right. Soundboard works. It's just sometimes the audio clips and stuff don't exactly work right with these. So, fun fact, little inside baseball and how I produce the show. I actually use different headphones. So, you know, these are my wired ones. I use the wired ones for when I'm editing videos and the clips that I'm going to use today. And when I'm doing the show, obviously, I use the wireless ones. And so sometimes OBS does a little bit of like, oh, I'm confused. I don't know which ones to use now. And so suddenly they turn into Jordan Peterson, and I don't know what to do. It just gets all bad. And so it has no idea what it's doing. So, you know, it's like I said, it's just going to be one of those things. But, you know, it is what it is. All right. So anyway, just to let you know, there's going to be some technical issues on today's show. Let's move forward. Already, we're not off to a good start because I'm actually going to take a major L. That's right. I'm taking the L. So let's go forward. Even the segment. Taking the L. Earlier this week, leaked video surveillance of the Uvalde police and their response to the shooting in Robb Elementary School was published. Now, there was massive outrage about a lot of the images and video that was released. Of course, obviously, 21 people were killed. 19 of them were children. So understand, just horrifying. And now, upon seeing that video, of course, I and many others were outraged that so many officers had refused to go into the classroom to stop the killing. And I specifically pointed to an officer that was checking his phone. So I'm going to show you the image here of the person that I had criticized. So look, that officer, Punisher phone lock, and I believe I called him a lot of terrible things. Let's just say that, including a coward, and saying that this person was illustrative of all the cops and their cowardice. Now, it turns out I was wrong. Massively. So, not good. Now, the officer in the photo, and this is why I need to come out and correct the record here. The officer in the photo is Ruben Ruiz. Ruben Ruiz's wife was shot. When he was checking his phone, it was a message from her as she was dying in the classroom. Now, the story actually gets worse from there, because his wife, Eva Morales, lay dying inside one of the classrooms. He had received that message from her on his phone. That message, again, said that she was shot. And so he wanted to go in, naturally, of course. Other officers, ultimately ended up escorting him from the scene and disarming him. So Morales was alive when the police did transport her from the classroom, but died before reaching the hospital. And so, again, very important context here. He was attempting to engage, but was removed from the building and disarmed by the other police officers. Now, when I reported this, I didn't know the context. And so, of course, as a reaction, I jumped to judgment. I got it very, very wrong, and I deeply apologize. And so this is a man who ultimately lost everything. I criticized him without knowing the context. I feel terrible about it because again, this information wasn't available at the time that I had reported it. In fact, because of the criticism of him was so just intense, news reporting agencies like the Austin American-Statesman came out and said, okay, look, we were going to release this information later with the rest of the report and the investigators, but because of the criticism of this man was so heavy, we decided to release it earlier because there's no reason this man needs to be criticized after losing everything. And so, again, I feel terrible about what I said about him. He did nothing wrong. That doesn't mean the other cops are off the hook. In fact, it makes the ones who escorted him off and disarmed him seem even worse. But in this case, Ruiz deserves an apology. And so, as a result, I've taken down a video where I criticized him from social media. It's not because I've wanted to hide what I said. Obviously, I'm doing an apology video, and I'm owning up to my mistakes. I'm acknowledging it here. But I didn't want it out anymore, just in case any one of his family members or himself might have stumbled around across it and done more damage. He has, again, suffered one of the most devastating losses here. Now, one more thing, too. I also criticized hand sanitizer guy. Now, according to the sources involved with the shooting investigation, who are not members of law enforcement, again, I don't really trust cops, I think for good reason. So these investigators who were not members of law enforcement also noted the context for this man, that officer who was in plain clothes, who was getting the hand sanitizer, was asked by the U.S. Border Patrol to prepare to help triage victims. And so, obviously, if you're going to be helping triage victims, well, you're going to put on hand sanitizer, you're going to put on gloves, and you're going to, in order to do their jobs very safely. So, again, on these two instances, I got it wrong. And I'm not afraid to admit that. again, I apologize for my rush to judgment, and I will make sure to try to do better in the future. So this is me setting the record straight. So again, don't criticize this officer. Again, he didn't do anything wrong. And make sure, in the future that we all try not to rush to judgment. All right. So, again, hey, this is what you have to do. So now, something that's not going to be like put out in the clip here when I put it out on YouTube, but I think it is important to note that these apologies are important, and it's good to do that. And it's also something that right-wingers don't do. Right-wingers never go out and apologize when they say something wrong. They'll lie and lie and lie, and lie some more, and double down, even when they have said some of the most worst things. And so I don't like to operate that way. I don't want to operate that way. I'm not a right-winger. I'm not an insane conservative. And that's why, of course, I got to go and apologize and do the right thing, because I want to make sure that the facts that I give you are correct to the best of my ability. To the best of my ability. So, all right. So let's go to some horrible things. People being absolutely shameless, terrible people. Or, I guess, to some people, the greatest people. All right. On Thursday, 73-year-old Ivana Trump, ex-wife of the former president, passed away. It's reported that she had passed away from natural causes. I don't know the details of this, but not long after it was confirmed that she had passed away, Donald Trump's Save America PAC immediately sent out this fundraising email. Now, again, before the fundraising email went out, Trump posted this to Truth Social. He said, "I am very saddened to inform all of those that loved her, of which there are many, that Ivana Trump had passed away at her home in New York City. She was a wonderful, beautiful, amazing woman who led a great and inspirational life. Her pride and joy were her 3 children, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric. She was so proud of them, as we were all so proud of her. Rest in peace, Ivana." And then, of course, that Save America PAC took that post, put it in a fundraising email, and blasted it out to everyone, to all of their followers. And there it is. There is no bottom to that barrel. Now, I know, again, there are fundraisers for people who have lost their loved ones, for example, in a mass shooting. And that's because we live in a barbaric system where people have to pay medical bills for getting shot at by someone else. So, I mean, come on. We have, again, a terrible system here. But this is not the same thing, because what you have here is Donald Trump being a billionaire, alleged billionaire, supposed billionaire. The grift is real, everyone. How can you fundraise off this? That's your ex-wife. I don't understand why you would put that in an email that it also has a link to, hey, why don't you go and donate to Trump's Save America PAC? No, that's sociopathic. Sociopathic. Now, as for Ivana, now remember, in her book, she had alleged that Trump had raped her. Now, again, that's her own words in her own book. She later on retracted that, but apparently it was enough for her to put it in her own book. The story goes that he had gotten bad hair plugs or something. He took it out on her and then had allegedly dragged her by her hair and violated her. Okay. I don't know if that really happened. I don't know the story. I wasn't there. I'm just saying that's what she put in her book. So now to get back to the point, he didn't even wait for her body to be cold before trying to get people to give him money. I mean, that's super depraved, I think. And I just wonder how many gullible people ended up opening their wallets because, again, if you are giving him money still, with all the scams that he has pulled, I mean, at some point, it's on you, bro. With all that information out there, you still choose to give him money, that's on you. Sad. You know, I have been seeing some people like, well, that's kind of sketchy, you know. The timing here, very, very sketchy. No, I don't think, like, you could say the timing is like, okay, weird. It's coincidence, right? No, I don't think she was Epstein. I don't think that he had her killed. That's ridiculous. It is an interesting coincidence, the timing, of course, but I don't think it has anything to do with that. All right. So, let's move on. Right after the leaked draft overturning the Roe decision was released, Republicans came out and they said, oh, no, hey, we're not going to ban abortion nationwide. No. We're just giving it back to the states. That's it. I mean, Thomas wrote in his, his decision here. We're just sending it back to the people. We're sending it back to the states, and so that the people can decide on it. Well, now that Roe is done, turns out Republicans are doing exactly what we said they were going to do. They're entertaining a national abortion ban. Because of course they are. So now before I show you the introduction of one of these new abortion bans, I just want to show you what they said back right after the leaked decision on Roe was released. In fact, here's Senator John Cornyn talking about a national abortion ban. Quote, I don't think it's really an appropriate topic for Congress to be passing a national law. Okay. All right. Senator Josh Hawley, Republican of Missouri, says this. That wouldn't be my priority out of the gate. Okay. He also said, I think it would be better for states to debate this, allow it to breathe, and for Congress to act where there's national consensus. Now, funny how he mentions this national consensus, because the majority of Americans never wanted Roe overturned in the first place. Poll after poll, you have a 2-to-1 margin for keeping Roe in place. One poll said 54% of Americans said it should be upheld, while only 28% believe it should be overturned. Now, Senator John Barrasso of Wyoming, when asked about the legislation in the federal level, said this, I want to see the states have that opportunity and the authority to do so. Okay. Senator Joni Ernst said, I always believed states should maintain that right, but we will see. No, we will see. Will we see? Senator Shelley Moore Capito of West Virginia said this, let's see what happens. I'm not going to get into what ifs. Well, you might have to. Because here is Representative Mike Kelly putting forward a national abortion ban. All right, hold on. That's the wrong video here. And it's not even working right. So let me fix this real quick. I told you there were going to be problems. So here we go. Let's do this real quick. Boom. There is absolute insanity in the control room. I know. Again, I told you it's one of those days. Go back to this. Yeah, it's just one of those days where I am just not prepared at all for audio issues and video issues. Fire the producer. I am the producer. Oh no. Oh no. This is bad. Well, guys, I'm afraid it's my last day. And I will never, ever come back because I messed up. Sad baby. All right. Let's see. It actually won't let me do the thing that I want to do here. So let's see about fixing this audio.
Endangered. It is a science-based, humanity-respecting solution suited to the new landscape in which we find ourselves.
All right, let's try that again.
Introduce the Heartbeat Protection Act in the U.S. House of Representatives. This bill would legally prohibit future abortions from being performed if a preborn child's heartbeat can be detected, with the exception for when a mother's life is endangered. It is a science-based, humanity-respecting solution suited to the new landscape in which we find ourselves.
All right, so look, that's Representative Mike Kelly putting up this bill that would, again, prohibit abortions. It's a so-called heartbeat bill. The one exception is to save the life of the mother. The proposed legislation would also require doctors to check for a heartbeat before performing the procedure and would impose criminal penalties on doctors who perform abortions after a so-called heartbeat is detected. Now, Republican Representative Doug LaMalfa was also one speaking in favor of the bill and said this, quote, "As early as 5 weeks in the womb, babies have a heartbeat." Do they, though? Oh, really? Really, really? No, actually, they don't. So now what's going on here, according to science, is that you have pulsing cells that can be detected in embryos, not through, being able to hear it, but through ultrasound, as early as 6 weeks. That rhythm is not a heartbeat because embryos do not have hearts yet. What is detectable at around 6 weeks is communication between groups of cells that will eventually form into cardiac cells. At 6 weeks, there is no heart, no heartbeat, no viability. There is no sentience there. It is not a fully formed human being. Simple as that. But see, understand what right-wingers do. They have been basically used and deliberately used emotional language to, I guess, literally tug at your heartstrings, which are also a real thing, but okay, in order to get that emotional response from people who are listening, to make people think of a fully formed heart and a fully formed human baby at 6 weeks, and that's just not real. That's just not the reality. The reality is most abortions are performed in those early months of pregnancy where there is no heartbeat, where there is no fetus that is fully formed. Okay? That said, on Wednesday, Republican Representative Fred Keller said at the House Oversight Committee on Dobbs, they simply took abortion and said the states will determine the laws that will cover that within those state borders. Aaron Hawley, senior counsel of conservative Christian legal group Alliance for Defending Freedom, who was married to Josh Hawley, told Keller that Dobbs had corrected a 50-year error and returned to the people and the people's elected representatives. However, at that same session of the committee, Republican Representative Jody Heiss said that abortion was a, quote, question of personhood. And there's not an instance that I'm aware of even one giving birth to someone or something other than a person. So, okay, she then went on to say that so if it is a person after birth, it by extension, that person is that person before birth. Now, hold on here. According to that logic, her logic, not my logic, an omelet is a chicken. A pile of lumber is a table, and a cow is a leather shoe. That, again, that's the sort of bizarre thinking that's going on here. But now understand what is going on. Republicans are going to do this once they take over Congress. And by the way, they'll do it. And then if a Republican wins in 2024, you'll have them literally passing an abortion ban. That's it. So on the same day Roe was overturned, Axios reported that House Republicans had already been considering this national ban. And by the way, a national ban has been 50 years in the making. When we have the majority back after the midterms, I expect there to be a larger discussion about where Republicans are unified, and those conversations are still ongoing, said Representative Jim Banks, chair of the Republican Study Committee. Former Vice President Mike Pence also said the court had returned the question of abortion to the states and the people, but went on to say this, that people must not relent until the sanctity of life is restored to the center of American law in every state in the land. So there it is. Republicans absolutely are going to try to ban abortion nationwide. Simple as that. When they tell you what they're going to do, maybe you should believe them. All right. I have another video I have to fix. So bear with me on that one.
Introduced the Heartbeat Protection Act in the U.S. House of Representatives.
Build a society based on our distinct worldview, on our just different from the left. It looks like a society. It looks like a society where.
Okay. Fixed. Thankfully, we don't have any more video clips, huh? Yeesh. Once again, it's one of those days.
There's insanity in the control room.
Who's got a hammer?
Okay. Oh, do we have two dueling Fuenteses? Are you getting like an echo on that? I'm kind of curious if you're getting an echo on that video. All right, apparently not. Oh, okay. Apparently we are. An echo for a moment there. All right, well, let me fix that.
We have got to talk about the fundamentals of our worldview and what it would look like to build a society based on our distinct.
All right, is that... Yeah, okay, definite echo. Definite echo. Okay, I gotta fix it. There was a pause and an echo. Unfortunately better. All right. I'll just have to edit that in post. You know, the trouble with doing a live show, you know what I'm saying? Far-right Christian nationalist, start that again. Far-right Christian white nationalist, Nick Fuentes, has detailed his ideal vision for the United States, and it's horrifying. Take a look.
We have got to talk about the fundamentals of our worldview and what it would look like to build a society based on our distinct worldview, which is different from the left. It looks like a society where women don't have the right to vote. And it looks like a society where boys and girls get married as teenagers and start having kids, and they don't use birth control, and they don't use contraceptives, and they have big families and a high birth rate. And it looks like women wearing veils at church. And it looks like women not being in the workforce. And it looks like mothers raising their kids. And it looks like pornography being banned. And homosexuality and transsexuality, as well as heterosexual sodomy, as well as fornication and adultery being shamed by the society, and maybe in some places, in some jurisdictions, regulated by the law. What are we really trying to achieve here? 1999? 1999 sucked too. We want to go back to 1099. We want to go back to the Middle Ages.
And there it is. Hey, when people tell you who they are, maybe you should believe them, because that's who this guy is. I mean, that's who this guy is. But look, here's who Nick Fuentes is. Okay, he's the epitome of a loser. He comes out and he cries all day long from his mom's basement about, oh, everything's so terrible. The feminism's is so terrible.